Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this narration of the web novel Humans Don't Make Good Familiars. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 60. Vindictor's Point of View. I see a light. We're almost there, I shouted. I don't think they are following us, but don't slow down. As soon as we exit the tunnel, fly up and towards the peak. We need to be sure that we are safe, so I'll seal the exit as best I can, Von Pack said. But you're almost out of mana, I pointed out. I will summon Paxis. I can use his mana, he said. Great plan, but you need mana for summoning, and you are out, Suma reminded him. Jake has enough mana. We can use him, she suggested. Fine, Von Pack agreed. We shut out the cave, and Suma summoned Jake. Sentinel, she shouted. Jake began to appear, but something was wrong. He was on the ground, and blood was running out of his arm. Jake! She fluttered over to stand by his head. Is he okay? I asked. The summoning is already healing him, but... She stopped and seemed rattled. He says he can't move. I didn't hear him say anything, Von Pack said, triumphantly, walking closer. He was over our private connection, she explained. I was stunned. I had no idea a familiar and a master could communicate both ways via private connection. I'd only ever used mine to give Agosa commands, and I know she was never used it to talk to me. Of course, she can't actually talk. Did he say what happened? He says that after we closed the tunnel, one of the creatures bit his arm. He knocked it off easily, but once I unsummoned him, he lost the ability to move, she explained. That creature must have had some kind of paralytic venom, Von Pack suggested. While we were talking, Suma had already casted a healing spell, and Jake was slowly regaining his movement. Jake, Von Pack needs mana in order to seal the cave. Can he borrow some of yours? Suma asked. Jake tried to say. Do it, Suma confirmed after Jake gave up and laid back down. Von Pack came closer and placed both of the tips of his wings on Jake's body. Jake, in turn, closed his eyes, and in a few moments Von Pack was surrounded by a brilliant dark blue and purple display. Light shined from his body as if he were ablaze. Von Pack, Jake is inversion magic, so don't try and heal anyone until his mana has left your body completely. Von Pack said nothing, but nodded that he understood. Each and every one of his feathers were puffed up. He slowly turned to the cave and cast a single spell. It appeared to be small, but the effect was extreme. I watched as the cave collapsed in on itself from as far into it as I could see, and, based on the sound, I imagine it went even deeper than that. With a thunderous cacophony, the last of the cave was sealed. But Von Pack wasn't done yet. He cast another spell that hardened and changed the color of the dirt, turning it into stone. Incredible, I whispered. Point of view, Von Pack. The power I felt was incredible, like an unstoppable surge of overflowing river, and I was nearly swept away by it. Von Pack, Jake has inversion magic, so don't try and heal anyone until his mana has left your body completely, Sua said, but I could barely hear her. I was so overwhelmed that I couldn't even bring myself to speak, but I could act. I turned and cast a spell. I used as much control and power as I could muster, and the effect was far greater than I could imagine. I can't be sure, but I think I collapsed the cave for several minutes of flight time. Incredible, I heard someone say softly. After I cast the spell, I could feel some of that power lingering. I examined myself. It seemed I was surrounded in a display, but it wasn't my normal color. This one was a dark blue with hints of purple, whereas mine is normally a light green. Not that I make a habit of showing off with displays like some haughty buffoon. When will this display fade? I asked. In a few minutes, but you need to use up the mana Jake gave you first, Suma explained. I could try and heal, I offered, but was cut off. No, Suma shouted. I told you can't heal anyone with Jake's mana. But this power, I'm sure. No, your healing spell would only be inverted. Right now you don't have access to any order magic, she said. But the nature spell worked, I pointed out. Nature magic can't be inverted. There is no opposite to nature. But if you tried casting a healing spell, it would be inverted, she told me. To what? Vindicta asked. Death magic, Zuma said. The POV of Lorik Isbala. My group and I finally arrived after a long travel with our prize in tow. Our familiars were tired, so we sent them off to rest as we located the drill instructor. He seemed surprised when he saw us. Back already? He asked. I hope the beasts of the mountainside didn't prove too much for you. No, sir, I said. We have our bands. One of the Niama I was traveling with raised a leg that we had tied it around. Well, then, he said, sounding impressed, but didn't let it show too much. That makes your group the winner. No one else has arrived yet. Go get some food and sleep. Dismissed. With that, we left and went to eat. I'm going to enjoy an extra hour of sleep tomorrow, one of the other Niamas said, stretching out his wings. Me too, the other agreed. As will I stated. I must say that you two did well. We made a good team, the first one said. The other nodded in agreement. They weren't wrong. Our three skills and the individual natures of our familiars worked well together. Perhaps we can work well together again on our next training session, I suggested. They seemed appreciable to the suggestion and agreed. End of chapter. The algorithm reckons you should be watching this video next, and I recommend that you should be always watching my video. So, click with energy! And yes, clicking that does help the channel. Thank you very much. I would just quickly like to give thanks to our Tier 5 members. Elithia, Barky, Feudicyol, Meridian117, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholtz, Albarden Gusta, Savage Patch Papa, and Lord Azrakal.